Welcome to another episode of Occult Bedtime Stories. Tonight, we'll wander through the veils of cinema and crack open a comedy wrapped in shadows. A film remembered for slime, laughter, and a giant marshmallow. But pulsing beneath its humor is a current of ancient mysticism, Rosicrucian architecture, alchemical archetypes, and ghosts of Dan Aykroyd's own family seances. This is Ghostbusters and the Occult. We begin in the New York Public Library. Stone pillars stretch upward like Gothic temples. Books float. Cards rain like snow. She embodies the threshold guardian, the apparition appearing in temples, pyramids, and schools, demanding silence before truth is revealed. It makes sense that the film's first haunting is in a library, the archive of human knowledge, the gateway to hidden truth. The scene feels almost like an old-timey seance, and that is no accident. Dan Aykroyd, who dreamed up this film, grew up practicing seances with his family. His father wrote a history of ghosts. His great-grandfather was a spiritualist, hosting mediums in the family home. The Aykroyds believed in spirits, and this opening scene is a demonstration. In this scene, Dr. Peter Venkman is playfully testing a young man and woman for psychic ability. It's a sly nod to the real-world experiments of the 1970s parapsychology movement. Venkman's deck of Zener cards, those iconic symbols of circles, waves, and stars, originated in the 1930s under the work of psychologists Carl Zener and J.B. Rhine at Duke University, who sought to measure extrasensory perception, or ESP, under controlled conditions. In the film, Venkman turns this once serious scientific test into a flirtatious farce. Each wrong answer earns the poor male volunteer an electric shock, while the attractive woman is rewarded no matter what she says. It's part comedy, part cultural commentary, and an echo of the era when psychology flirted with the paranormal. Now we meet our four strange heroes. They look like scientists, but beneath the lab coats and one-liners, they are archetypes of the occult tradition. Egon the mystic. He is cerebral, touched by otherworldly obsession. Egon channels Newton, Tesla, Jung, the kind of scientist who stares far into the abyss of knowledge. Ray the alchemist, wide-eyed, childlike. Ray is Dan Aykroyd's alter ego, a man who wants the spirits to be real. He is the alchemist searching for gold. Venkman the trickster, the coyote, Loki, a showman, laughing in the face of mystery. Tricksters walk between worlds by mocking them. Peter Venkman carries that role, a skeptic masking deeper instinct, manipulating energy through charisma. Tricksters are guardians of balance, mocking the sacred while secretly serving it. Winston the prophet, skeptical, grounded, Winston alone brings the voice of the Bible into the film. Judgment Day, the dead rising from the grave, fire and brimstone, rivers and seas boiling. His words echo Revelation, the Old Testament prophets, the apocalyptic tradition. Winston is the one who recognizes the signs, who reminds us that these battles are not just comic, they are cosmic. They are not just exterminators, they are a magical order disguised in boiler suits. When they get fired from the university, the moment is played for laughs, but it is also a metaphor. For centuries, occult sciences were driven out of the academy, banished by church and state, and labeled as heresy or pseudoscience. Alchemy, astrology, mediumship, even psychology in its early days, all exiled to the margins. Knowledge of the unseen is always driven underground before it returns with new power. Their first job comes in a hotel where we meet Slimer. Slimer is a tribute to the late John Belushi, who was originally slated to be in the film Ghostbusters, but passed away before production. The Slimer scene is played for comedy, but in essence, it is an exorcism. They summon, bind, and contain a wandering spirit inside a trap. A portable magical seal. Compare that to Catholic ritual, holy water, invocation, binding, or to ceremonial magic, the circle, the container of brass or crystal. In their proton packs, we see the fusion of modern technology with ancient sorcery. Beams of fire replace incantations, but the principle is the same. Energy is directed, the entity is subdued, the circle is closed. The ectoplasm that coats the film is not just ghostly goo. In spiritualist seances of the 19th century, mediums reported a viscous substance emerging from their mouths, said to be the raw material of spirit manifestation. Scientists studied it. Ghostbusters laugh at it, but also preserve it. Next in the film comes Dana Barrett's apartment, the temple of the film. Dana's apartment, perched high above New York, becomes a Tower of Babel built in glass and steel. It is occult architecture hidden in plain sight. The film tells us it was designed by Ivo Shandor, a fictional architect who practiced Gozerian rituals, a cultist who poured occult geometry into the bones of the structure. The building serves as a superconductive antenna to summon the god Gozer. Shandor utilized a special mineral, selenium, to construct the building. From the pyramids of Egypt to the cathedrals of Europe, sacred builders believed stone and proportion could channel power. The Egyptians used granite and quartz, not just for durability, but for resonance, believing the minerals themselves carried spiritual vibration. Pythagoras taught that harmony of materials and design could invoke harmony of soul. Freemasons later whispered the same secrets, built with certain minerals, and the building becomes an antenna for power. Freemasons carried that knowledge forward, encoding symbols into arches, towers, and domes. New York itself is heavy with occult whispers. Obelisks, like Cleopatra's Needle, are said to ground Egyptian power into Manhattan. The Chrysler Building and Rockefeller Center are covered in Masonic motifs. So when Ghostbusters show us a tower built as a summoning device, it is not just fantasy, it is the echo of a truth. Architecture as invocation, the city as ritual space. And then we have the gatekeeper and the keymaster. Dana Barrett and Louis Tully possessed, their bodies driven toward union. On the surface, a comic seduction. In deeper lore, it is sexual magic. Sex seen as the key to opening portals. The union of opposites, male and female, key and lock, creates the channel for Gozer to manifest. What looks like slapstick is actually ritual. In Ghostbusters, this sacred and dangerous alchemy is inverted, corrupted into demonic summoning, but the roots are very ancient, older than Babylon, woven through every mystical tradition that speaks of union as the path to revelation. When Gozer demands the Ghostbusters choose the form of the destroyer, Ray's innocent mind betrays him. He thinks of something harmless, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and suddenly, there it is, colossal. Manifestations in occult philosophy are not always harmless. Tibetan mystics called them tulpas. In chaos magic, in Crowley's work, even in Jung's collective unconscious, the image you invest with belief can take shape in reality. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a cuddly terror, a god of sugar stomping New York, is the true occult punchline. The final battle takes place in the sky. The rooftop becomes a temple. Twin pillars, altar, stairway to heaven. New York is transformed into an esoteric stage. The city as a magical engine channeling collective energy into the heavens. Gozer descends, an ambiguous god. The feminine in monstrous form, and the Ghostbusters 4 archetypes of the mystic path must unite to banish it. Dan Aykroyd himself is a bridge between comedy and mysticism. His childhood was filled with seances, his lineage bound to psychic research. Aykroyd himself has spoken openly of his own lifelong fascination with UFOs, conspiracy, and the paranormal, and they all pour into the script. Aykroyd is not just a comedian, he is Ray Stantz, the believer who bridges worlds, the one who carries occult memory into popular culture disguised as a joke. His crystal head vodka, sold in glass skulls, is not just kitsch, it's alchemy. The skull as a vessel of spirit, the crystal as purifier. He speaks of extraterrestrials, psychic energy, and lost civilizations. And perhaps this is the film's true genius. By making us laugh, it opens us up to ideas we might otherwise resist. Theology disguised as slapstick. A seance in cinematic form. This has been Occult Bedtime Stories, Ghostbusters, and the Occult. Pleasant dreams.